Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here today. My name is Lindsay Amico. I am the VP of the Education Committee for Buffalo Niagara Sales and Marketing Executives. Today we have Claire Stroh Petrie here. So excited to have her. I'm not going to go through her entire bio because it is quite extensive, but she is currently the Director of the Technology Talent Management at Lighthouse Technology Services and President of Claire Petrie HR and Training LLC. She's essentially a LinkedIn master. So any questions that you have about LinkedIn, she's going to clarify for you right now. We're going to go from until about 5:30ish. Then we're going to go into some Q&A if you guys have anything else, and I'll let you take it away, Claire.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. I'll share my screen. Okay. Can you see it okay? Give me a thumbs up. I can see all of you on video. Can we see it? Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm going to get my chat pulled up as well. Feel free to drop things in there as we go. If you're joining live with me here, can you let me know where you go to school? If you're in Buffalo, I assume so. Would love to know who we have on the line. So yes, as Lindsay said, we're going to go till about 5:30. I can stay on a few minutes after if there are any questions. I will send Lindsay a PDF of the slides as well. So some things I'm just going to breeze through, but you'll be able to go back and click on the live links in the PDF and things like that. And please connect with me on LinkedIn if we aren't already. You can always message me there afterwards if you still have questions. So thank you, Lindsay, for the intro. Yeah, so 9 to 5, I work in HR and recruitment for Lighthouse Technology Services, and evenings and weekends, I talk about LinkedIn and career advancement types of things. And then I'm also on the board of the Buffalo Niagara Human Resource Association. So very similar to BNSME, but for local HR pros. So I love helping out with these types of events. Professional development is super important. So I'm glad you're all here for this today. So today, what I have planned for you, we're going to do a quick overview on creating and optimizing our LinkedIn profiles, a few slides on using LinkedIn during a job or internship search, personal branding and positioning, what that means, how to use LinkedIn for it. You can also use LinkedIn for professional development and networking. So we're not just going to talk about jobs. You can use LinkedIn for so much more than posting jobs and getting a job. So that's what we're going to focus on because it's really a career advancement tool. So that's what we're doing today, setting it up for success in our careers. And then I want to share some screenshots as a recruiter. So someone who uses LinkedIn to find candidates for my open jobs. As a student, some content examples, just things that get your wheels turning that I've seen from other students that I think from a recruiter perspective are really impressive to give you some ideas. Awesome. Okay, so let me know in the chat, do you have a LinkedIn? Yes or not yet? Awesome. Okay, good. We'll breeze through setting it up. The main thing I like to talk about here on what is LinkedIn is its mission is to connect the world's professionals and make them more productive and successful. So nowhere in this mission is it to post jobs or have people apply for jobs. So people think, again, LinkedIn is like Indeed or ZipRecruiter, where it's just like a job site, where LinkedIn is really considered a social media site, similar to like Instagram or Facebook, because it has that, newsfeed component. You can add a photo. There's much more capability to it to communicate and behave in a way that can build your personal brand and your reputation rather than just a site where you apply for jobs. So I hope that makes sense. We're going to have a focus again on that, using LinkedIn to connect with business professionals and network. So to create our profiles, if you don't have one yet, for anyone on the recording with us, just go to linkedin.com. You just need a name and an email address. So once you're signed in, some quick reminders to get us started before we start filling it out, posting and commenting and things like that. Remember, again, LinkedIn is that platform for business professionals. So be responsible, use it as an opportunity to create and attract folks to your network, not vent. So save some of that venting or plans for the weekend or things like that to some of your other social channels that you have those security measures on. You have friends and family there, things like that. So we're going to be using this again to attract those future connections, potential employers, things like that, to help you advance in your career. So again, our whole focus today, and really for this entire conference, right, is setting you up for future success in your career. So I think I'll pass over these because we only have a half an hour, but all the benefits of LinkedIn, I'm sure won't come as a surprise to you. And some of the sections that you'll find when you're filling out your profile are listed here. I'm just going to focus on the headline and headshot because I think those are the two most important, and I'll tell you why. And the customized URL. So you can see these screenshots down here at the bottom. My coworker, Madeline, who joined me at Lighthouse Technology Services, did not have her URL customized. So LinkedIn does just assign you a random link with letters and numbers when you create your profile. So especially if you want to use it on your resume, your personal business cards, your email signature, it's very easy to get that customized link. So you'll just view your own profile, and on the right, you'll see that edit public profile and URL. So if you have any questions on that, let me know. Why I want to focus on the headline and the headshot. So if you've been on LinkedIn, you've probably seen if someone's left a comment, or if you've left a comment on something, it only shows your headline and headshot and what you said. So those are the two main pieces of your profile, right? And the screenshot in the middle is from the mobile app. The LinkedIn algorithm tries to suggest connections to you, suggest you as a potential contact to other people based on where you went to school, experience, similar things you've engaged with, liked or commented on, and things like that. So the first thing they're going to see about you is your headline and headshot before they might decide to connect with you, view your profile, and things like that. So your headshot, if you haven't updated it recently, I've never paid for a professional headshot. I always use iPhone portrait mode in front of my fireplace. So it's very easy to do yourself. But I just like to use this funny example here, you know, the photo of me on the left. Clearly a night out on the town, bad lighting, cropped someone out, duck face. I don't think I look like somebody I would want to do business with, that I look trustworthy. So if it's that time to get yourself a good photo, I would do that now as you're setting up your profile, because then once you start more actively sending connection requests or leaving comments or things that are going to attract more profile views, you want to have it set up in a way that you just feel represents you best. So get a new photo if you haven't recently. And your headline, again, is that piece under your photo. It's really just kind of your descriptor for your profile. And why I like to bring it up is because you have 220 characters there to use, which is usually a lot more than people think they have. The headline is usually used for your current job. So you'll see with a lot of professionals, like for me, for example, it would say like director of Lighthouse Technology Services. You can add many, many more things. So let me just show you some examples. So I'm an alum of UB, so that's why all these examples say UB. So of course, fix it up to what's relevant for you. But if you're a current student, I would include that in your headline. And you can also include, of course, any other combination of these things. So education, internship, job, volunteer work, special skills, anything like that. It's really just that first snapshot that will encourage people, again, to connect, view your profile, and then be able to read more about all these different items in your different profile sections. So again, these are just examples to get your wheels turning. I do recommend, if you haven't already, to complete your profile. So what I mean by that is if you view your own profile, you should see a strength meter from LinkedIn. So it will say beginner, intermediate. If you don't see it and you just see my dashboard or my analytics, it means you have what LinkedIn considers a completed profile, which is great because according to the LinkedIn algorithm, some of their blogs and help pages and things like that, LinkedIn is known to drive more traffic to those completed profiles, which makes sense. So say Lindsay and I are both HR pros in Buffalo. She has an all-star status completed profile and I don't. If someone's searching HR pros in Buffalo, she should rank higher in search results. So it's just LinkedIn's way to thank you. They don't want a bunch of profiles on the platform that look like bots. They don't have photos or any information on there. They don't want people sending connection requests and wondering if this is spam. You know, they want business professionals to be engaged with the platform. So they try to reward you by getting it fully filled out. So I get connection requests as a recruiter with no photo, not a lot of profile information, and no connection request note, which we're going to cover as well. So I really question, why do I want to accept this person to my professional network, right? So I don't want you as a student trying to advance your career to be sending that connection request and someone's wondering, you know, who you are, things like that. So if you view your profile and see the strength meter, just hover over it and fill out your education, your skills. You do need a photo, I believe, to get the completed profile. So we'll just kind of walk you right through that. And then the great news is once you're done with the strength meter, there are, of course, other more optional sections. So if you do have certifications or volunteer work or other things, certainly do fill out more sections that are applicable to you, even past that completed profile. These are just a couple fun mentions, not part of All-Star status. You can add your name pronunciation to your profile. You can only do this from the mobile app. So if you have the LinkedIn mobile app, download that, view your own profile, and you'll see the option to record your name pronunciation, which is the little microphone next to my name in the right screenshot. So I love that as a recruiter, or if I know I'm going to be meeting somebody at an event or whatnot, to be able to pronounce your name correctly when we get on a meeting. So that's cool. And same from the LinkedIn mobile app, you can record your 30-second cover story video. Again, not required. So if you're a little nervous about getting on video, it's okay. But you can view my profile as an example. So it will show your headshot. And then if you have that 30-second cover story video, a few seconds of it will start playing behind your photo. And someone can click on it to view the full 30 seconds. So what I love about it is it's just another great feature that LinkedIn added. So you can really add your personality and voice to your profile. I mentioned that a lot. Adding your personality and voice to your profile. So it's not just an online resume. So it's kind of that spot where you literally can be speaking to your audience, which is really cool. And you can add your pronouns in a separate field now, which is great. So before, people were adding them to their last name field because there wasn't really a proper location for those. So now there is a field for pronouns, which is great. And then the screenshot on the left is just a reminder to check your contact information. It's totally up to you what you want to put in there, whatever kind of security comfort level you have. Some people do have a phone number on here for their connections to see. You could put a business address or something like that. I personally don't have those, but there's a lot of options. Just make sure your email address is updated wherever you check most often. It could be your school email or your personal email. It doesn't matter which one, just whatever one you're going to be checking most often, so you don't miss any messages from recruiters or things like that. And then as you can see here, you can link websites or social media if you would like to. All right, let's keep moving. So one of the gripes I hear from students and other folks applying for jobs as a recruiter is they see a role that they think is a perfect fit for them, they apply and never hear back. And that's hard sometimes because you'll see a role that's already been posted for like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and you're like, I applied, I'm a great fit. Why did I not hear back? It's still posted. This is so frustrating. So the reason I just like to briefly touch on LinkedIn job alerts is because typically as a recruiter, once we post a job, we're watching the posting very closely for the first few days, and qualified candidates that come in over the first few days, we're of course getting started with those recruiter screens, hiring manager screens, things like that. So even if you're fully qualified, but apply after it's already been posted for a week or so, there might have just been other folks who are getting started in the process sooner. And the role typically does stay posted until an offer is extended, sometimes until someone starts, and that can take, you know, a month to a few months depending on the role. So while companies are going through all those interviews, the role stays posted. So just check out LinkedIn job alerts. It is a great feature that LinkedIn has. So you can choose to get daily or weekly emails based on location, job title, specific companies, if you're really targeting a certain company you want to work for. And then my recommendation is try to apply within the first like 24 to 48 hours, just improves your chances of getting called back for that first interview. And you can also use LinkedIn to search for folks. So I love the search bar on LinkedIn because everything starts here. So whether you're looking for a hashtag, a person, a group, a job, you always start with the LinkedIn search bar. So you can't get lost kind of figuring out where to go to look for something. So I've met people at networking events and I forgot their name, but I remember they work at M&T or they work at Lighthouse. So you can put in, you know, recruiter at Lighthouse, you would find me. You could put in marketing at M&T, for example. So LinkedIn doesn't know that recruiter is a title and Lighthouse is a company name. These are just keywords. So it's just looking for those things on the profile. But great way to find someone if you don't have their exact name. So you want to follow up on an application after a networking event, or things like that. So give those simple searches a try. You might have to use your best judgment based on where the person's located, or things like that, who you want to reach out to. And then of course, you're going to add a connection request note, which we will get to as well. So personal branding, what do I mean by that? Some of your favorite brands that might come to mind, mine are like Nike, Starbucks, and Apple. Those keywords that come to mind when I see that logo or just hear the company name. So it could be, right, quality, fun, tasty, whatever those things are. So your personal brand is really just what keywords, skills, and strengths come to someone's mind when your name is said, or when they picture your photo or see your photo on your LinkedIn profile. And you really build your personal brand through your communication and behavior. So it's just very similar to your reputation. The reason I like to bring this up, especially for students, is that I know we're still kind of early on in our careers, kind of navigating how we professionally communicate. You might get messages on LinkedIn, I get some too, that don't apply to me at all. It's a cold sales pitch, or it's a recruiter reaching out to me for a job that really isn't a good fit. Remember to communicate and behave in a way that represents you well, right? And feels authentic to you. So I would still recommend replying to that recruiter and just saying like, thank you, but this is not a great fit right now. Keep me in mind for the future, instead of like, what the heck, why are you messaging me about this? You never know, right? If you're going to encounter that person again in the future. So it's okay, to say no or decline the email or whatever, but just remember your reputation is based on that communication and behavior. So I just do a quick gut check when I'm replying to something, posting, commenting, anything like that. Then I'll show you some post examples. So of course, build your personal brand by how you can post things on LinkedIn, how you can comment, reply to comments, send those connection request notes, and how you engage with others. So that's why I mentioned comment. So it's not just things that you post to your LinkedIn, but how you choose to like comment and engage with other either company pages, brands, or personal profiles is a reflection, of course, of your brand as well. So I just have a bunch of screenshots here. I'll kind of breeze through these, but just to give you ideas, if you have any type of club involvement at school, you're a student member of BNSME and attend events or anything like that, you can get photos. Zoom screen grabs are completely acceptable as well. So these are just some post ideas we're going to breeze through. If you are comfortable on video, that's an option as well. Links, of course, are always great. So if you're attending an event, if you're sharing an industry related article, if you read a book and did a book review, I love doing that. Here on the right, I love Steve Brown. He's an author in the HR space. So just ideas to get your wheels turning that help you showcase your personal brand and position you as that kind of up and coming marketer or sales professional or whatever. So these types of posts your network finds valuable and showcases that you're kind of like contributing in a positive way to the online community with, again, links, things like that. So I've noticed that pictures of people with smiling faces, my LinkedIn connections love those, especially when a new team member starts on their first day at my company or things like that. So again, if you're attending an event or you're with, your friends working on a group project or something at school or whatnot, you can definitely snap a photo, post about that event or that project you're presenting on or things like that. That's definitely appropriate for LinkedIn. Okay, my next poll. Let me know in the chat. Has anyone created a post yet? Give me a yes or a not yet. Yes. Okay. Definitely connect with me if we aren't already. I would love to see your posts. Okay, great job. So briefly on professional development, I love this stat. It's a few years old now, but I'm sure it still rings true. It just made me laugh as a fellow young professional that LinkedIn, right, is the platform, in fact, with most seasoned professionals and those among the age 50 to 64 than 18 to 29. So I try to remember as a young professional, I'm aspiring to grow in my career, be in a certain role. The people that have the knowledge that I need or in those roles that I aspire to be in are on LinkedIn. They're likely not on Snapchat and Instagram and things like that. So I try to spend as much time as I do on my favorite social channels, mindlessly scrolling and liking and looking at fashion and the other things I enjoy, with LinkedIn, where when I scroll my feed on LinkedIn, again, I'm more looking for articles, just best practices, what other professionals are doing. It's really helped me learn a lot and just give me some new ideas and information that I've then been able to use in informational interviews or things like that. So just keep that in mind. You can take LinkedIn learning courses. There is a limited library of free courses. So that's just a more like formal, learning product that LinkedIn has for professional development. You can join up to 100 free groups with your personal profile as well. So I won't go through this one. It'll be in your PDF, but just a little bit more on what a LinkedIn learning course would look like if you added it to your profile. Of course, we can use LinkedIn for networking. So I connect with every person I've ever met ever, almost. So all past coworkers, past classmates that I had at UB and NU, like all of you today, I'd love to connect with you. I did a presentation earlier for Damon, met some professors and things over there, connected with them. So just as you're attending different events, doing projects with new classmates, some professors are willing to connect as well, again, because it's a professional platform. So just keep that in mind. Use it as kind of your personal, what I call CRM system. If anyone's familiar with customer relationship management platforms, it's kind of like my personal professional database of like everybody I've ever kind of come across in that community, volunteer, professional type of setting. And it's great because as the years have gone on and I've advanced in my career, there have been folks that have reached back out to me or I've contacted them needing a referral or some updated information on an industry best practice or things like that. So getting started with it as a student, I think is so important. I forgot to mention, so I started in HR in 2012. I had a LinkedIn, did not actively use it. It was just there in case I got an email or a message or whatever. Didn't even start actively using it until 2017. I was like 5 years into my career and my career skyrocketed after that because I met and learned from so many amazing people. So yes, getting started as it, like just getting comfortable now as a student, even if you're not like posting or commenting or whatever a ton, but just getting in the habit of like checking it more, using it to learn and connect with the people that you meet along the way will be super beneficial. Great question in the chat. Do you recommend accepting an invite from someone you don't know? So there's really no right or wrong answer to this. It's a gut check. It's your personal social media. So like any of your other channels, if I get followed by somebody that looks like spam, or again, if it's on LinkedIn, you have an option to add a connection request note. So if I don't get a note, maybe the person's not in Buffalo, we don't have any mutual connections. That's just kind of my personal checklist I run through. If I can't get an idea of why they want to connect with me, then I decline them. And there are other times too, again, you can't break anything on LinkedIn. You can always fix it, edit it. So if you accept someone and they hit you with a spammy sales pitch or whatever, you can always unconnect with them or block them or whatever. So don't worry about that. But yeah, so it's really up to you if you get a connection request, if you want to accept it, if it's not someone that you know. So just whatever you feel most comfortable with. So briefly want to touch on engaging. So we talked about some post examples. I have a few more to send you in the PDF in future slides. Engaging, as you know, is like the claps, hearts, reactions, shares, comments, things like that. So not a post and not a connection request note. So the way I recommend you focus your engagement on LinkedIn is comments, because remember, when you leave a comment, your headshot and your headline shows up with it, right? So you're showcasing your personality and voice. Whereas just liking something on LinkedIn is very passive, right? Someone will see the little bubble with your face on it, but they can't get an idea of like who you are, why you liked that, if you have anything to add to the conversation. And your headline, again, doesn't show up there either. So if you can, start looking in your newsfeed for things that you can leave a comment for. New positions, work anniversaries, other celebratory type things with your current connections are great ways to get started, right? Because it's easy to get comfortable hitting that submit button when you're complimenting and uplifting others genuinely. It does not require a lot of thought. Certainly, if there is something where you can contribute to the conversation, so if one of your connections shares a marketing best practices article or whatever, and you want to share why you thought that article was helpful or what you learned from it or what you would add, that's great. But don't feel the pressure to do that. If you're in a situation where you don't have that knowledge to contribute, you can still comment proactively, get your profile out there in your connections news feeds. So I hope that was helpful. Why I call my kind of framework connect, post, and engage intentionally is just remember everything lives on your profile. So all of you here, I can view your profiles right now, go to your activities section and see everything you like, comment, share, etc. So save that mindless scrolling and liking for Insta or some of your other favorite channels. You want to be much more intentional on LinkedIn because anything you like or comment on, all of your connections can see that. So just keep that in mind. Again, just communicate and behave in a way that's authentic to you. You're comfortable with a future employer seeing that and things along those lines. So we have a few more minutes, so let's run through my perspective from a recruiter. So similar to your resume, some things you want to keep in mind for your LinkedIn profile, typos. So the reason I bring this up, because I don't even care as a recruiter, this is just me personally, if I get a resume with a typo, it's not going to disqualify you. That's just my personal opinion. On LinkedIn, though, why it's so important is because LinkedIn's a search engine, right? It's online, it's digital. So if you spell something incorrectly, you might just literally not come up in my search results because I can't find you if you forgot the R in marketing or something like that. So comb your LinkedIn very fine to make sure you have no typos. So that way, as a recruiter, I can find you in the search results. Keep your formatting consistent. So you can look at my profile as an example under all my experience sections. I start my bullets with dashes. I use dashes. You can use bullets, asterisks, whatever. I would just keep it consistent for all your experience so that the focus is really on the content and it's not distracting because you have a bunch of different formatting. Sharing content that isn't meant for LinkedIn, again, that's very broad, but again, do what feels authentic to you. Personally, I do not go to LinkedIn for memes, GIFs, screenshots, personal information. That's just me. I go to Facebook and some of my other channels for that. So again, just keep that in mind. Do what feels authentic to you. But remember, this is a platform where you're kind of building your network and that personal brand for career success. And then an incomplete profile. So just follow your strength meter and get it completed. Okay. So your results and impact-based bullets, again, very similar to your resume. I wouldn't just list a task. If you can somehow add after your task, which led to or which resulted in, just very impressive to recruiters to be able for students to articulate, even if you're in an internship where you're doing filing or something like that, the universe knows I did quite a bit of task-based things, in my internships and part-time jobs and things. I still was able to tie it back, just understand why I was doing it. So how does this really help the department or the company? So keep that in mind. And then again, LinkedIn's a search engine. So just be careful with abbreviating things, acronyms that might not be well known. You can always put the acronym and then spell it out as well. Okay, so yeah, just some other good student examples. If you work on a case competition, on a group project, complete an internship, that's a great time to create a wrap-up post. Or if you're starting an internship or starting a job, you can tag the company, let your network know what type of role it is. If you attend, again, any events, you can grab a photo while you're there. Your about section, you have so much room there to personalize that as well. So make sure to write your about section in first person. You can use the word I, you're speaking to the person that's reading. So mine does not say Claire Stroh currently works at Lighthouse, right? I say I'm currently working in recruiting and HR, etc. So again, just some good examples on, I love seeing students that have shared posts, added their name pronunciations, really beefed up that about section. And you have a lot of customization in the about section. So again, just keep it crisp, but whatever works for you. You can do bullet paragraphs, whatever. All right, awesome. So when connecting, make sure to add a connection request note. So again, on desktop, when you hit connect, you'll be prompted to add a note. So you'll never forget. On mobile, it's a little bit different. You do have to click more personalized invite if you want to add a note. If you just hit connect on mobile, it will send it right off. So it does not give you the same prompt on the computer to add your note. If you've sent a connection request, let me know in the chat. So here are just some note examples. Again, use your authentic personality and voice. These are examples. These are my personality and voice. So you don't need to copy and paste these, but they're just ideas to get you started. So if you're connecting with somebody because you saw their post in your feed, if you have a mutual connection, if they attended an event at your school, if they were also on the line during the BNSME event, you made note of their name in the Zoom chat. So just mention something specific, right? If you're going to connect with somebody. And when you do send a connection request with a note and the person accepts, it shows up in your inbox, in your LinkedIn messaging. So that's a really great notification tool where if you connect with someone and don't add a note, you do not get a notification that they've accepted. So that's what I have planned for you today. Again, we will share the recording in a PDF of the slides. So I've included my contact information here as well. I hope you learned something new. So I'll stop sharing my screen and then I'm happy to take some questions if there are any.
I guess
Thank
I'll
you.
introduce
Hi.
myself really quick, if that's okay.
Yeah, hi, Bobby.
I work as a graduate assistant for St. Bonaventure University, their business school. And I was sent this by one of the professors I work with, and I do a lot of LinkedIn, I guess, everything that you kind of were talking about. So it definitely validated some of the projects that we're working on. And we encourage a lot of our club, we have a lot of small clubs on campus. And we encourage them to do these LinkedIn posts that kind of show off each step of their projects or like the skills they're learning or the people they're meeting. And, you know, to do things like tag their teammates or if they do projects even in the classroom, kind of make it more of like a validated portfolio, if that makes sense. Yeah, so I liked everything you said about definitely validated some parts of what we're working on.
Love that. Yeah. Today we just did obviously that quick 30-minute overview. If you want to chat more in depth, let me know because you bring up such good points. You've probably seen that featured section where students can like pin things or upload documents. That's a great point. There's so many options. You got to make it more of a portfolio. Lots of features for sure.
I didn't know if you were going to go into depth at all about more of like the organization page side of LinkedIn. I know we try to work on creating an organization page for each of the clubs. So you can kind of put that as an experience in your experience area on LinkedIn. So it kind of makes, instead of just having it, you know, small in your education section, it kind of once again validates all of these things that you're learning, because sometimes you learn a lot more in these clubs than you might in some of your classrooms. Different skills, I should say. Yeah, so I definitely will reach out because there are some questions I might have on some things that we're currently working on, but yes, thank you again.
That's awesome. Great work, Bobby. It sounds like you guys are doing a great job there with LinkedIn. I love to hear it.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for hopping on. Thank you, Claire, for all your knowledge. So we can stop the recording.